to level 10, and you will count, and then obviously that's just really good, right? Like, then we're literally creating money for StarCraft 2, so go check that out. Prediction, we can't do predictions. These series have already been played, so people will just cheat you out of your channel points. As we have in the bottom left-hand side, it is going to be Cham. Which means that the scores on the colors on the scoreboard are currently absolutely incorrect. Because the scoreboard, for some reason, has Cham as red and SpeCial as blue, but that's clearly not the case. SpeCial is in the top right-hand side. What's up, Bruce Lee? Thank you so much for the 28-month resub. Appreciate it. It's a good deal. Hell yeah, it is. You can very easily get to level 10 just having it open and tap for this series. Yeah, literally in this first game, if you start now, you just click where it tells you to click, and it will literally, you'll literally be done by the time this game is ended. If 20 people do that right now, I can remove the banner from the side, I can stop talking about it, and you guys will have added a few $100s to a StarCraft 2 prize pool. So check it out. As we get into this TvZ series. I mean, this is really fun because obviously SpeCial and Cham now have a bit of history to them, because Cham denied SpeCial his DreamHack Masters Latin America Championship, right? And boy, did he look good in that event as well. He just had an answer for SpeCial. SpeCial just could not get a few series going together for him, so yeah, just really sick. Like, Cham looked great there. I'm actually really interested to see if just Cham can keep it going, right? Can Cham do it again, or was it just like a one-time special? Was he feeling particularly great then? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm kind of interested in right now. That's what I'm kind of thinking about and wondering a little bit. So we're coming around, some Lings taking a few shots of damage to start out with, and this is going to be our initial micro. SpeCial playing a lot of mech recently, something that Cham had something of an answer to, so yeah. We get, let's see if we get some mech here, if there's just going to be a bio-focused series from SpeCial. We do open with a couple of different Reapers, so 2 Reapers to harass with in the early stages, and looking to utilize that. Little grenade goes down, we pop off a Ling, so a single Ling dies, and drone's now starting to take some damage in the main mineral line as well here. 1 drone going low. Finally we get a kill, and looking for more as the couple of Lings come chasing around. A Hellion in the natural, and Cham has to pull his drones away as he's now lost 2 workers. He's going to not lose 3. Misses the drone that was low HP. Wow. Well, still a couple of drones, not bad for early in the game. A lot of lost mine time as well. A lot of drones pulling off the mineral line there to make sure they didn't die. So that's nice. We go Cyclone behind this, especially going to keep up the pressure as we get another Ling as well. So has been racking up the kills with these early units. And with the medevac coming across, this is the sort of follow-up from SpeCial that can really benefit from the damage that he's done thus far, right? It's one of those scenarios where because he's just done little bits of damage, this attack now is perhaps actually going to be a little bit more disruptive than it usually would, and it's that snowballing effect. So yeah, usually I would be like, you know, any attack that happens like 2 minutes from now, like, yeah, does that early damage affect it? Yeah, a little bit, but the longer you wait to then take further action, the less likely it's going to be an effect on it. But in this case, yeah, it's going to happen quickly enough that it might just be effective. We're going to drop here, and that's a dead Overlord to begin with, but that, of course, does slow you from going into the main or so. At this point, Cham wants to make sure he's got the units out to be able to deal with this as required, so we'll just want to set up towards that a bit. Things running back around into the center, and just going to be seeing our medevac loading up. Marines in the Cyclone getting back into the medevac and moving in toward the main. So yeah, just killing off some OVs, taking some map control. I would have thought he might have tried to get a bit of, you know, aggressive towards the Queen or so, just because he had this start, which kind of, you know, kind of let him do that, I would say, but yeah, it didn't happen. Like I said, it's really not the end of the world. It's not such a bad thing. I'm just going to be seeing the Hellions and the Reapers heading down through this bottom side. And there goes a couple of Lings will be picked away at pretty quickly, and now these Lings coming in for a wraparound. Hellions going down, Reapers going down. Really good shutdown so far, as the medevac now boosts down the bottom side, and Cham will have SpeCial looking or angling for some more damage. And with an auto turret in the main base, the harassment in this early game from SpeCial is just through the roof. It is just never ending so far and has been really well done. Looking for another Overlord here. Will not get it, but just, again, chipping away at drones here and there, adding up. And it's now meaning that this damage is just done over an extended period. It really becomes a bit more of a problem, right? Eventually, that SpeCial just shows up with a whole chunk of stimmed bio units. And then there's just not going to be the units you need to defend this as Cham, because you've been playing this defense and just taking little bits of damage the entirety of the game so far. So that definitely starts to feel like perhaps a very real issue here as a couple drones get picked away at the front, and just going to be seeing the Spore Trawler trying to relocate. The Lings are going to come running through. All of that setting up as the Cyclone and few Marines get rid of some of the additional creep spread as well. It's just going to work through that straight away. Now Medevac will load up the few units and evacuate back out toward the center, so we get rid of the Zergling pretty quickly. As we get rid of the Zergling, just going to be seeing our Hellions moving through the middle of the map as well. Hellions coming across, and our Lings immediately taking some damage. Just going to be having our Hellions there to pick off those Lings. Job well done. You have 1 more missile upgrades, Roach speed, Roaches and Ravages all continuing to produce at the moment here as our Medevacs will reinforce. And I mean, obviously just playing into these Roaches, I mean, it does give you a bit of a sturdier defense against these initial pushes, which I like for the damage that Cham has sort of taken thus far. So I do like that he's on Roaches, but obviously Roaches are a bit of a timing thing as well. Eventually is, oh, he kills a Medevac. Nice grab. He also killed the Raven as well. If you missed that, that happened in the main base. It just flew over and Queen got rid of it, so it was already low HP. And he just got the clean up on it, so I'd say that's a pretty important one to note as well. As yeah, good defense pushing this back. I mean, again, that's what the Roach Ravager is great for. Cham's still droning, so he's not looking to really hit like a huge timing with Roach Ravager. He's absolutely going to be looking into different styles of units in the future, and there is the Balin Nest and the Infestation Pit. If you're going to play just Roach Ravager, it's usually just 66 drones and you just commit. Maybe sometimes you go 2-2. This obviously, like I say, is just never set up to be that because he just kept on droning. Marines Medevacs will set up on the right side. And again, never really getting a chance to go full force with the army. Now it's got its upgrades, and something that SpeCial will absolutely at some stage want to try and fix, you know? This army is meant to be on the map. This Bioforce is meant to be able to make use of its upgrades, etc. So that's something we need to be seeing a little bit of, I think. And this Marines will stem forward here, and this is maybe his chance to then make this thing. How well does Cham defend, and also how well does Cham transition through to the Banelings and everything else as well from here? A few warning throws of Valors, maybe try and catch those units if they retreated away instantly, but they did not. They tried to look for the main base, but there's Queen there to dissuade the drop into the main, so game pretty nicely handled in all honesty. Hive coming up on the main base as well. It's just getting that Hive online, getting it set up, and these few Marines stepping forward for a couple of Crypt Humors. Getting some damage done there as our Roaches step forward as well. These few Marines in some trouble. Our Lings also wanted to come through, but the Bio Army was good enough to just shut that down. Now we do drop into the main. We lose a couple Medevacs pretty quickly, and Cham so far is holding out decently on all fronts. The frontal attack is being pushed back. The drop in the main. Okay, I actually thought the drop in the main was a bit better handled so far, but he loses 4 drones. He's going to lose the spawning pool. Not the end of the world. He's making a few Lings, but yeah, I think he'll survive without it for at least a little bit here. This attack that got chased away, well, he does lose what he was chasing with, as he just chased too far. It's becoming a pretty exciting game here on TvZ thus far, isn't it? Becoming rather fun. Still moving down the right, so getting set up, and it's continuing to move into some aggressive positions. Actually eats a few Baneling connections here though, so Cham getting forward. The tank's not sieged, so no supporting splash damage, and the Banes were able to run riot there this time around. So able to do fairly decently in that situation. And we have got this Vital Force being pushed back again. They're attacking the main base. Oh, the Cross of Vile's going to get 2 medevacs, including the one that loaded up all the units. Massive connection there from Cham. That is a huge moment, in fact. I'm just going to be seeing this Ling Roach Ravager still pressing forward, still looking to try and deal some extra damage. And he is continuing to chase down a lot of these units. Low HP as well. I mean, Cham's actually just starting to swarm in terms of supply. And yeah, it's very Roach heavy, sure, but I mean, this is one of the bigger leads that he's had in the game. I gotta say that felt a little bit off from SpeCial, right? That definitely felt like it fell away from him a bit more than it should have done. Everything just started dying there, and it just felt like he lost complete control of the game. It's kind of wild. Suddenly then we are seeing a couple of libs that are going to try and bring some of the attention back toward Cham and his defense, rather than him just being able to go across the map and just fully commit and basically send it. Fire coming over, feelings going down. The hatchery will start to take damage once again. So Hatch taking a few shots here. Just going to see the medevacs loading up and unloading into the main base as well. So in they go. 6 drones going down. Just going to be having the Ling Roach Ravager there to push it all back. And just going to be seeing the Liberator getting picked off as well. The medevac's still up this left-hand side. Ultras are on the way out. We do see Ghost coming through from SpeCial, though, as this is going to start drawing out into a bit of a longer game for sure, based on what we're currently seeing. Medevac's out of the far left. Just going to see a bit of bio moving into the center. Marines going after an Overseer for a few moments. Got a Spine, we got a Queen, Lingbane, Roach Ravager going to continue to push on through. And for the moment, SpeCial is going to continue down this bottom side. Love the drop into the main as the Ultra will actually be in some trouble. Enough Marauders there to put up a good fight against it. No kindness playing on that Ultra either. Cham comes back across. Spain's hitting the Ghosts. It would be nice if we killed the Ghost, but they mostly just lift back up into the medevac. Enhanced Shockwaves, that EMP coming online as well from SpeCial then, so getting those Ghosts to be as effective as possible. Obviously, at this point, you might want to start having EMPs against potential, Vipers, maybe a couple sneaky Infestors. These are all reasons to have an EMP available for sure, so that's set up as the Lings, Banes, Vipers head to the top side. So they're going to head up north. As they head north, they're going to get surrounded in this first chunk of SCVs, in fact. So nice this 5th base from mine a little bit. We are going to have a Terran army heading south as well. And maybe Cham comes back to flank this. It does feel like something you're going to need to get under control. I guess it wasn't that many units. It was mostly just the remnants of that previous force. Oh, this is nice though. Catch a few units for free in the middle of the map, just off to the side. So this is decent. We now have a push in for SpeCial on the left-hand side as well. We might get to see in a sec. It's just a drop. So just one medevac and Marines. Lings and Ultra will try and play clean up there. And the medevac will probably jump in the main. SpeCial trying to be as annoying as possible, as these two are really playing a pretty great game against each other. Very back and forth. Lots of action. Cham keeping SpeCial off of 5 bases is definitely an eventual issue. SpeCial doing decent at trading and kind of keeping Cham busy as well, though. Keeping the multitasking going feels like a way for him to still be very okay in this game. The Corrupt account's coming up, and the Corruptors are an interesting one. Obviously, mostly you'd see Corruptors initially to either transition to Broods or to just deal with Libs. In this case, I kind of like having a few Corruptors just to shoot down medevacs, because there's so many of them, and the drop play has been annoying. So having something that can actually just deal with the medevacs is actually a pretty big plus right now on the side of Cham. So I actually kind of like it. It's an investment for sure, but I think it's actually not going to be one that really eats too much into your army supply or feels too bad for quite some time here, as this Queen picked off instantly. A couple of Spine Crawlers pinging away on a few of these forward Marines. Workers start to come in. A couple of Banes trying to reach, and we do hit a little bit of the mineral line there. This is a good cleanup from Cham, dealing with this over here. This is what I mean with these Corruptors. This drop isn't going to be able to lift up and get away, so this Ultra will chase down these Marauders, and those units will be guaranteed to die. So the Corruptor's already shown a little bit of value here. I wouldn't have minded that Viper. I feel like it maybe could have got a Parasitic Bomb off on that group of Medivacs. Wouldn't have minded 1 or 2, would have had some guaranteed kills. 50 new Lings on the way out from Cham as he resets to go again. Lings and Ultras heading to the northern side. Jump in, just going to go hit that Planetary Fortress. Ling is going to go chasing down the SCVs. Bagans as well. And of course, it's in the bottom, but also they're just going to be going through and denying that hatchery. So that goes down. Just going to be seeing now the Bioforce back over to the right-hand side. Away we go. Gonna scan up once again. Gonna take the watchtower a little bit. Grab a couple of these creep tumors. Gonna have these corruptors taking a bit of the damage. I mean, if these corruptors can get rid of all these medivacs, that alone is just a lot of supply. I almost wonder if there's too many medivacs for this stage of the game. Cham, equal supplies or thereabouts being maintained throughout this. These corruptors are absolutely going to clean out everything in the sky eventually. It doesn't look like there's much left on the ground. Do we try and lift up and get away? We do. We lose a few units in one of the medivacs that lifted up initially. This orbital command will now drop down dead, and just going to be seeing Cham continue to look very okay here, as we do have the few corruptors getting sniped at once more. So a few of those getting picked off, chased away. The Spire will be just finishing up in a few moments, of course, and now our Bio Army continuing down to the south here from SpeCial. The Banes reaching quite a few of these Marines. Very nicely done with a couple of Widow Mines. And cleaned out as well. Cham just has a overwhelming supply at the moment. He will turn it around for a second here. SpeCial coming through with a fair few units, but as soon as Cham gets all of his reinforcements here, I just don't think SpeCial has what he needs to fight this any longer. Lings, Ultras, and Corruptors just pushing their way forward. These Marines are low HP. All the Medivacs died previously, so there's no healing from these stim packs at the moment, and that is an ever-growing problem as well. Yes, yeah, this entire mineral line is going to get wiped out. Where can we run to? The Planetary Fortress, I suppose? You sure? I mean, the moment there's some Banelings, that Planetary Fortress is going to be a sitting duck, because with all the SCVs on it, or even just an Ultra there, could do very well, because those SCVs, I think there's 45 SCVs on that upper side Planetary. Obviously, there was never a 5th base here for SpeCial, so without a 5th base, it really is kind of a problem, right? Man, I don't know what it is, but Cham has just got SpeCial's number recently. It's gonna be, I can't even remember how many maps it is in a row he's gonna have won against him at this point, but it's kind of a crazy number, considering SpeCial kind of dominated Cham in Latin America in general for so long. Ultra's going up into the natural. Ultra's getting rid of the SCVs and the orbital on the 3rd. The units in the natural don't do well, but it's enough to get the GG out of SpeCial, and Cham will take a map here, and that will be very suspicious. Top right of Waterfall is going to be our Blue Zerg player at Cham. Bottom left, our red Terran will be SpeCial. Map 2 then. Away we go. Map number 2 between these two. And like I say, Cham with a lead again. Just has had SpeCial's number as of late. Just keeps on finding those W's. Cham has just been really good at not letting SpeCial get ahead. Defending well early. And then from there, he's always just been very consistent, just saying, the game's been kind of scrappy and back and forth, but he's really been thriving in those situations, so it's been very interesting, very fun to watch. See Cham find some success lately and definitely just leveling up in general as a player. STV checking out the base there. Reaper is going to come across to begin the harassing game. Reaper coming around. Drone taking some nibbles. Just gonna be seeing a couple of drones on the way through, so little bits and pieces. 3cc from SpeCial. Short map, I'm gonna play kind of greedy at opening here. So that's definitely kind of a bit of a risk and also kind of interesting. As the Reapers come in after a drone there, getting a little bit of damage dealt. Gonna get another drone as well, so doing a very good job of this so far. And a couple of these lings now being picked away at, taking a lot more damage. Back into the main, I'm just going to come through. Grenade, going to pop a queen down. A few lings continue to take damage. We will get rid of one. The 2 Reapers, though, look as though they're on their last legs, perhaps, as I think those queens just attacked the Zergling instead of the Reaper, which is a minor mistake. No, we don't get the Reaper. It's low HP. It escapes away, gets out alive. Frustrating exit for as Cham can't quite finish that off. Thank you everyone again on the Hero Wars, guys. I see a bunch of you coming in. A few extra in the last couple minutes. Thank you so much for hitting level 10 over there. Bringing us ever closer to that goal of 90. 17 to go. Thank you so much. I hate Reapers, but for some reason I'm constantly cheering for them to live. It's just fun, right? It's exciting when they escape on low HP. You know? It's definitely one of those interactions which is just like a little bit exciting for them. And the thing is as well, usually a Reaper escape on low HP is pretty inconsequential later in the game as well, right? But yeah. And in fact, coming over, Cyclone and Marines will unload and just go after the Overlord. Overlord will be picked up. Pick off a creep teamer at the front here as well. It's just going to work on that straight away. And Roachron coming down again from Cham. He does like his roaches. He wasn't only playing roaches against SpeCial during the Latin American DreamHack event a couple weeks ago now, but you know, has always been a fairly roach-friendly player. And on a map like Waterfall as well, it's short. Roaches are kind of best on a map like this, in fairness, so it's not super crazy that he uses roaches. Just obviously you've got, you know, something we've got to comment on because it is kind of an important note to make that roaches aren't the choice, because that will change up a lot of how he plays this game as time passes by. They'll lock on. Queen gonna get jumped onto there and is gonna get pushed back by the Cyclone. The Marines join up together as well. A bit more damage being done now. The Queen's coming through. The drone's gonna start up a hatchery. Just gonna get that established as well then, as we do have the Queen here coming back in, and again the medevac just gonna be pushed away for the moment. SpeCial back through middle of the map and starting to head over the right hand side with these couple of medevacs and try and keep things going. Load in, and Marines will, with the Cyclone, be able to make a play for this right side, and it's going to come straight through. Cyclone gets a lock on. The Queen is going to go down. And the hatchery dies as well, so no fourth base for Cham, and that's going to be an immediate problem. He's only on 66 drones, though, so I wonder if he really is this time around more so looking to commit to the, commit to the proper, kind of full-on, 3-base 66 drone commitment here, a little bit of an all-in. Maybe it does feel like it. I mean, obviously right now he doesn't have a fourth, so it wouldn't make sense to make more drones, but it just feels like we're heading in that direction for the moment. Going along, a couple of crew threads. Cham is still being picked off as medevacs will load Marines up. And the Queens are still coming in to try and chase those medevacs away. The Road Ravager coming back through as well. And we have just committed to a couple of Infestors, in fact. So Cham going to get some of that tech online. Infestors are always fun because when they come up, when they come up almost out of nowhere, right? You kind of look at it and you're like, oh god. Infestors can be kind of deadly, First fungal growth, lock stuff in position, Roach and Ravagers get to trade in, favored numbers. Those are the kind of fights that can go very wrong very quickly if you're a Terran player. So, yeah, those first Infestor fungals are going to be exciting because, like I say, they could be the ones that upset a little bit. Oh, so medevac still dropping on the side. SpeCial is still just pushing through the center. He still hasn't really got a fourth base or anything, right? So, no fourth means that he's... Oh, yeah, he just starts it now. I mean, I was just going to say, oh god, this fungal! Did he not have the energy? Oh man, he loses an Infestor as well. I feel like there was a fungal potential from the right side Infestor that could have been great. And I just don't think he had the energy quite ready yet, so unfortunately loses out. Now he hits a decent fungal, but he's obviously not in as good a position to fight now either, so... Obviously, it changes a little bit as our wings run in, a little surround, and those medevacs will have to evacuate the units away. Spire coming online. As the medevac still just getting set up. Gets through and just gonna have our feelings, forcing these medevacs to escape away, and we do have ourselves the greatest SpeCial already coming up as well, so that's gonna be part of Cham's plan here. Get to Broodlords, utilize those. Gonna be part of how he plays out Waterfall, so interested to see how that will continue as well. This is gonna have our Ling Roach actually finding a chance to get on top of a group of the Bayou units over here, so jumping onto this, our Lings and Roaches getting straight in here, and it didn't feel like a bad fight at first for Cham, but definitely didn't turn out too great, did it? Absolutely not. Going in after Spawn Pool, a bit more bio around the right-hand side as well. We actually do have the purpose, so they can get rid of the medevacs. Obviously, Protoss played a big role in the last game. We'll lose its hatchery in the front. Unfortunately, that is going to be the end of the hatch. So, hatchery goes down. Gonna see the Bio coming up to the top left, gonna push through a little bit of creep going down as well. Now SpeCial trying to engage over here. The fungal lands on all the medevacs. Is there a way to kill those off? I guess no corruptors nearby, or not enough of them close enough, fortunately, so medevac's not going to be punished too heavily. Well, SpeCial got his fourth base up, and now he's coming around the right side as well. Continue through. Just going to see the couple of Vikings continue onto those Broodlords as well. The Roach Ravager going to continue forward, but oh, the tanks hit a big shot. Bioforce still trying to get forward here. The Brutes are going to turn one more time, and that Roach Ravage is still just trying to hold this off. I mean, the Broodlords are the one thing there's not a great answer to. Like, a couple of Vikings just aren't enough, quite frankly. As the tanks on Siege, the Infestors will find a pretty amazing fungal growth. It's an awesome fungal, and you actually start to get medevac kills because of it. All the other bio units underneath also facing trouble here. Special Supply suddenly is being a little bit overwhelmed a little bit. Oh, the Broodlords showing up right now. Everything's coming through. Just gonna see our Roach is coming forward. Our Devo's continuing to go down. We do just have the Vikings at least now get on top of the Broodlords finally, but is there enough on the ground to actually deal with the Roach force at this point? There might not be. Factory going to be going down. The Orbital Command taking some damage. A couple of Vikings still getting some good shots off. And the Bio Army turning back around into these Roaches. A few more Corrosive Files coming through. The couple of Infestors staying back. Can we get rid of this tank? And can we keep this Roach Army progressing forward? There's a few Ghosts that have been absolutely drained of energy at this point. They've been doing everything possible to trade out as well as they can. And yeah, now out of energy. Not really much else to give apart from a little bit of just DPS here and there. This is a hold from SpeCial. He pushes this army of Cham away. However, he has lost that base on the left-hand side, and that base might be a costly one for him eventually. That might be a little bit too much for him at the honest end of the day. Look at this base though, so he's going to get rid of a fifth of Cham. He just don't get it. Cham's there to defend. It's low though. I mean, it's definitely a potential down the line, right? As these Marines will not get much done in the main base either, so they get picked off. Cham's maxed, and he's going to try and make the most of being maxed. He definitely knows that SpeCial hasn't been on a full army for a little bit here, so wants to just strike while iron is hot, and in we go. This planetary gonna get bowed a little bit. Some SCVs will begin to go down. The Caustic Spray will power up a little bit as well off the Corruptors. There it goes. Massive fungals across the units that come in to fight this as well. And while the Corruptors do fall, everything on the ground is dying from SpeCial, and Cham has the money to rebuild and go again with another maxed army. That's something SpeCial just cannot really continue to compete with. It's more and more of a problem that continues to come into play, it would seem. Well, yeah, I mean, there's only 2 orbitals on the map for SpeCial. He's flying his natural out to the base we just saw that just got killed. So that's kind of the desperation mode that we're in at the moment here. And there's a few more Corrosive Files coming up. Fungal growth going down. Those Marines going to get stuck. More Corrosive Files. The Marines looking very good. The Vikings coming forward. This entire army of Cham on the retreat. It is going to get pushed away in the end. Well, Cham still has a little bit of extra money to spend compared to his opponent, so probably could be making some progress toward that. Vikings go up the right-hand side, will take down an Overlord. Just going to pick that off, and well, Spore Crawler there, not going to let the Vikings get too close. Going forward, we snipe down and Infested to begin with. A couple of battles coming down, and the Ghost picked off there, so not having the greatest of starts as we just have the Roach Ravager trying to push forward. The tank at least creating a little bit of a holding position. Without the tank, it feels like that Roach Ravager might have begun to swarm, quite frankly. Loading coming through. This Queen gonna have to get away. The couple of drones having to escape out of here as well. We do have the force of Cham still out on the left-hand side. Cham just feels as though he's too far ahead to really lose out, but I would not mind seeing another round of like techier units, because right now it feels like he's trying to win the game purely on Roach Ravager, and that part of this is something I really am not too much of a fan of. I understand the idea of like he felt like he was going to be able to swarm to victory, but now I feel like that's not really true anymore, and he's got so much money he could have afforded a decent amount of tech being rebuilt or so. Just battle on that tank costs a little bit more to get rid of this position than it should have done, as Ghost Snipes come through. SpeCial desperate, just try and hang on in here as long as possible. A few more battles, Medevac's turn back around. Raptors are back in play, so of course Broodlords are once again a threat. We have kept a few Vikings up. I mean, there should be potential to build more Corruptors than Vikings quite easily when you consider the current state of things, so I'd be kind of surprised if that wasn't the case. I mean, maybe not right now, but in the near future that definitely should be a possibility. There's more Corruptors coming out, so he's actually refilling his supply with the tech units here, so that's absolutely the correct call. Army sets up in the bottom left, the extra Broodlords all coming in. Roach Ravager ready to make a jump on this once again. Here we go. Tank is going to go down, but almost so will the Orbital. Do we actually have a way to finish that off? Would be amazing just to get the final touches to that right now. Not quite going to find it, I don't think, as it gets to live, but Cham will back away and still looking overall pretty freaking good. Can't complain too much about the state of things right now. The damage done this game, the Roaches have been very successful at being the main damage dealers. I thought maybe the Corrosive Files might have had a little bit more of something to say about that. Fight continues forwards, the Roaches taking a beating. And that is just going to be Cham losing out on quite a lot of supply. I mean, the numbers are almost getting close together again at this point. It's almost becoming competitive one more time. On the bottom right, a few of the Broodlords moving out to the middle of the map as well. Just going to be seeing our Vikings still in production here for SpeCial. There's a couple of biles going down in the center.
Is this a no Viper challenge?
Definitely. I mean, for a while I feel like he just gave up on tech units in general. He did at least start to rebuild some, but yeah, Vipers are kind of missing. We have light Vipers against some of the tanks, absolutely, right? Maybe just afraid of using them against the ghosts? Some of the snipes coming through as Corruptors go take on the Vikings. Obviously, the Broodlord's back in play. Trying to get the Infestors into play at all for some fungal growth. So they're definitely trying to find their way forward. Just need the Broodlings to go off again to soak the tank damage for a couple of moments, and then the Infestors and everything else can perhaps come on through and try and make that move right now. Here we go, fungal growth on the bio. Oh, it's a massive fungal. Tanks are going down, and the corrosive valves are connected, and this is looking very juicy. If you're a Cham and a GP fan, Cham looks as though he has finally broken through. Took a lot longer than I thought it was going to with the way the game was initially setting up, but in the end, we'll get the job done. And yeah, credit to Cham, gets there in the end, and another victory against SpeCial. SpeCial just cannot seem to beat him lately. Well, there's definitely something to that, right? I don't know if it's just a matchup of current styles or so, but SpeCial just can't seem to get out ahead on these scrappy games. Cham with the 2-0, big win, big W. And he is going to be tying this